Support and funding for stickers is provided by viewers like you. Thank you. Are you cozy? Are you settled? Do you have a blanket? Do you have a nice beverage? A nice little goblin beverage? I'm very cozy. It is very rainy here today. I am here in place of Vacation Sarah. She is currently in Italy, enjoying her time and filming it for everyone to see later. Don't you worry. I'm here to fill in while she's gone. And I figured I would talk to you about my favorite fictional podcast because I don't really see a lot of people talking about fictional podcasts. I don't know why that is. Radio shows was one of the most prestigious form of entertainment for a very long time, and that's exactly the vibes that these are. This is like tuning into your radio station and getting a cereal for 30 minutes. Kind of like that one scene in, oh no, what's it called? It's that Christmas movie, A Christmas Story, where he tunes into his favorite Rough Rider or something radio show. But these are modern day radio shows, I suppose, but they're podcasts because everything's a podcast now. But did you know there are fictional ones and not just self-help non-fiction ones? Which, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with those, but I can only listen to so many self-help ones, okay? Sometimes I just want a fictional story to get out of this current world and gain some perspective on what is actually going on in our world through the means of fictional podcasts. I also think that fictional podcasts help us gain some form of attention span. It is like an audiobook. You can do other things with it, but I really like to, when I'm listening to these episodes, either I'm cleaning, which is not my favorite. I feel like I really should be paying attention to the story more. So I typically try to color while I'm listening to it. So I'm doing something with my hands, but my brain is engaged fully into the story. So really appreciate these. And of course, driving, if you have a commute or anything like that, I think these are perfect for that time as well, to help you get into your day and get out of your day. Honestly, most of these give me a really good perspective on life and really good perspective on the world, our current times, and really helps me reflect on the bigger picture when it seems like everything's zeroed in and everything's going so poorly. I really like to listen to these to gain more perspective on time and space and things that could have been or couldn't have been, and etc. and so on. So let's get right into it. These are my top 5 fiction podcasts. First one I mentioned in my spooky reads as inspiration for one of the books that I recommended over there is Tower 4. It is about a guy, I think his name is Mike. Yes, his name's Mike. Go meet. And he is a new Fire Watch Tower person. Of course, that automatically brings summer camp vibes, spooky, ooky woods. What's going on in the woods? Why are there things in the woods? And what the hell? Why can't he remember certain things? What's calling on the radio? What's happening with the radio? Can he trust the other person that he has to check in with every day, which is a woman that I can't remember her name. But he has to check in with a woman every single day to be like, hey, fires, no fires. Or if he sees a fire, he has to call into her because her tower is the closest one to the rest of the other towers, so she can go into base. He is so far away at his tower that he can't call into base. He can only call into her. So then we get into, can we trust her? Can we not trust her? Is he really going insane, or is she playing a part and causing him to go insane? That's just one of the plot devices. I will read you the summary. Mike Archer is a newly appointed fire watcher in the Wyoming woods. While he's never done anything like this before, he needed something new after his mom passed. Now he hopes to spend his days in a tower above trees looking for fires and working on his new book. But things aren't as quiet and peaceful as he hoped. Strange interference blasts over his radio at night, and he starts seeing and hearing creepy noises in the woods. But what are these odd occurrences actually happening? Or is he just going stir crazy? Now this has, how many seasons? Don't start playing. There are 3 seasons. Most recently, they posted in fall of 2024, so hopefully there is a season 4 coming this year. I have listened to up to, I think, season 3. Yeah, and it's made by Seven Land Productions, which I believe does a couple other ones that I've listened to, and I think one of the other ones I'm gonna recommend comes from them. But this is Spooky Ooky. It has a lot of atmospheric sounds, and I really enjoy listening to it in the car with the volume really high, so you can really feel like you're in the woods too. Obviously, headphones is a great way to listen to this. Love this. It was, I think I've already said everything that I need to say. And it's the perfect mystery, the perfect atmospheric spook that I needed for the fall. Our second podcast is called the Missile Home Museum. Now, I started listening to this long time ago. It came out in 2020. It's called Missile Home Museum of Mystery, Morbidity, and Mortality. This is episodic. It's following a helper robot thing that goes through the museum and tells you about what's in the museum, and everything in the museum is not quite right. I'll read you the about section. It'll do a better job. Hello, and welcome to the Missile Home Museum of Mystery, Morbidity, and Mortality. The audio tour guide will be your window into the history of museum and its exhibits today. Please note that if you notice your version of the audio tour guide behaving oddly, kindly ensure that you dispose of your audio device in the nearest incinerator at the earliest convenience. Now that gives you little to no explanation what this podcast is, but it is listening to the mysteries, like how these objects got into the museum. And all of the objects are weird and cause like a fire in a town and other things like that. And there's an overarching plot. It's a lot like Supernatural, where it's episodic. Every episode you have something that you are trying to figure out and learn about, and then either defeat it or understand how it relates to you in the museum currently. And the main character, I love them. I love them so much. They're a robot of some sort, but they just have such a fun little personality and take you through all of these exhibits in such a fun way. And the overarching plot is truly one of the more creative I've ever seen in a while. And this is written by one guy. It kind of seems like written by one guy in his basement, and he just does such an incredible job. This is a podcast that I think is like, it's just like, it's unheard of, or it's a bit of an underdog when it comes to a podcast. I don't necessarily know if it's super popular. It seems like it's a lot more popular than it used to be, but I've only made it to season 4. And last season is season 6, and that might be the last season, but there's a lot of episodes, like a lot of episodes, so this may take you a while. Series finale, season 6, episode 15. So there's 6 seasons, and there are a lot of episodes to go with it. And I mean, I haven't even made it all the way through, and what I have listened to is just so good. Okay, the third podcast, fictional podcast I recommend is Station 151, and this is by Pale Matter. It has, I think it should have a new season now. Season 2. Yeah, so this came out in 2024, so hopefully we'll get a season 3. This is essentially, I know if you watched my spooky reads video, I am weirdly into like Arctic, Antarctic, South Pole areas where there's not a lot of civilization. I mean, there is no civilization. I mean, you know what I mean. Like in remote areas with lots of snow, and you're going to weird stations and nothing makes sense and everything's like a top secret something or another, and weird things start happening. I don't know what it is about that, but that just captures my imagination and interest in a way that cannot be competed with. And there is actually a game, like a point and click game, where you're solving a mystery, and I think one of my favorite gaming channels, Gab Smolders, did it, and I'll put it up here. But that whole episode, there's 2 of them, those 2 episodes, I watch them back all the time just because it is such a good atmospheric mystery, and I love that. I love that, you know, things have been abandoned, there aren't that many people, but you're still going further and it looks like people were just there. I don't know what it is about that, but I love the thematic, the thematic themes. The themes are theming, you know what I mean? So anyway, I will read you what this is about. Males here. Male time, mail time, mail time, mail time. It makes me wanna wag my tail. Mail. Really hope that the post office officer could not see me doing that. Okay, let me read you the About section. Station 151 is Antarctica's first and only astronomical radio observatory. Built by the Telders Corporation at an estimated cost of 200 million USD, the station promises to reveal the darkest secrets of the universe. Join astrophysicist Dwayne Robinson at the bottom of the world as he sets off on the adventure of a lifetime, and probably his last. Station 151 is a science fiction podcast written by Andy Sears and Stephen James Sears. It is produced by Bear Wider and Pale Matter. If I remember correctly, this one is a bit more funny. I might be getting this one mixed up with another one. I think this one's funny where the corporation is a mock corporation of like, I don't know, Amazon and other, maybe like Tesla or something. Like I think it might be comedic relief on like a private company such as that fuels literal astrophysicist research into the secrets of the universe, and it's all by a private company. It's just wild, and it has a lot of like proprietary technology that keeps this person at bay and like tricks them, and I think it might be AI. So it's just like, it has a lot of good funny commentary on current events of like AI, mega corporations, and how they control the secrets of the world with their money, how this one person is going against the grain, of course, and discovering what they've done and trying to get it out to the actual people of the world. Now, there's another one that is very similar. I'm gonna have to hang on. Okay, so I feel like I'm conflating two different podcasts together, but I can't find where the other one was, so I'm sorry if that's infuriating, but I think it's the same podcast. I think that I am conflating two ideas that are equals the podcast that I'm recommending currently. Okay, and the fourth one, now if you haven't heard of this one, if you haven't listened to this one, what are you doing? Are you dead? And have you been living underneath a rock? It's Limetown. It only has 2 seasons, and it is about a town kind of like Eureka, you know, the TV show on Sci-Fi, where it's just a special town where all sorts of mystic things can happen, but people disappear, and we follow journalists while we try to figure out what the hell happened to the people that disappeared. And here's the About. 10 years ago, over 300 men, women, and children disappeared from a small town in Tennessee, never to be heard from again. In this podcast, American Public Radio reporter Leah Haddock asked the question once more, what happened to the people of Limetown? Limetown is produced by Two Up, the producers of 36 Questions in the Wilderness and Shipworm. Now, this has 2 seasons. It is succinct. It really does a great job of keeping the mystery unveiled and bringing you along for the ride. It feels like you're truly following a real broadcast as somebody figures it out, like all the other ones that we've listened to that are nonfiction. This one is secret government facility, and now everybody's disappeared and we don't know why. Perfect spooky ooky vibes, but it's really itches that scratches that itch. Wow, can't use colloquial terms. Scratches that itch of investigative journalism in just an extreme situation. Okay, and I've saved the best for last. I adore this podcast, fictional podcast. Somehow my hometown gets mentioned like 3 times in this, which is the weirdest thing I think I've ever heard. Not like I'm from a really popular hometown or anything, so it's just weird to hear it mentioned, which just endears me more to this podcast. This podcast, what can I possibly say about this? Truly, it sits in my soul, and it has its own room, a door and everything. I love it. It is the podcast that I go listen to when I'm having a bad day. It is a podcast when the world is falling apart. I go listen to this and I gain perspective on what's happening. And it's a fictional podcast. And I know there's that quote where it talks about stop reading a bunch of self-help books and read poetry and fiction, and you'll find your perspective on the world a little bit faster. And this truly feels like that in practice. It is a time hopping, time spanning, multi-dimensional diner that travels through time, dimension, etc. to help give the world hope and help fix timelines, create a sense of hope for people in different worlds, different times, and different beings and creatures too. Not everything that they encounter is human. So let me read the about so you can kind of get an idea of what it is. When Gloria took a waitressing job at a diner outside of Phoenix, she didn't realize she was now an employee of Midnight Burger, a time-traveling, dimension-spanning diner. Every day, Midnight Burger appears somewhere new in the cosmos along with its staff, a galactic drifter, a rogue theoretical physicist, a sentient old-timey radio, and some guy named Casper. No one knows who built Midnight Burger or how it works, but when it appears, there's always someone around who could really use a cup of coffee. At the nexus of all things, there's a diner. We open at 6. This podcast is the wittiest, most creative podcast I have ever had the pleasure of listening to. The characters are so well written. I love/hate all of them. Each one has their own background, has their own emotions, and bring each other together. I think something that really draws me to this is the relationship that these characters have with one another and how they build it up with each other, really keep it. I mean, when I think of other TV shows that I've liked, like Parks and Rec, where everybody has such a nice relationship with each other, it's a reprieve from the world. And this gives me the same feeling, same warm fuzzy feeling. Yes, there's a lot of tension. Yes, there's a lot of growth through characters and a lot of world building, but it just feels so natural. In what world can you have a cognizant, self-aware radio and it makes sense in the plot line? But it does, and they are some of the best characters I've ever come across, especially because of where I grew up. They truly envelop what I thought I was learning as a child. I don't know, just they put it back into the world, and it's not something that I necessarily believe in anymore, but they are the instance of good things. I don't know. This podcast, the author is just a magpie of information. He loves learning about new things. He loves gaining all the knowledge and putting in references, and there's a lot of physics, but in a way that you can understand it. And there's a lot of perspective on how our world is going and how this is just a time and space. It's just a blip on the radar, but there are really important things that could happen to change the course of history. And I think there's a lot of really good commentary on past theorisms and just being a human. Or not so human. I cannot recommend this podcast enough. It is my favorite. It is like my comfort podcast that I pull up and go to sleep with at night. Like it just is that girl, for real, for real. I cannot say any more better things about it. I don't want to explain it too much because truly it is such a pleasure to get to know these witty, hilarious characters all on their own. And it is just if you are into gaining perspective, if you are into maybe fatalism or understanding the world around you and understanding why everything happens and everything of that nature, this podcast is for you. If you are a girl, a woman, and you know, women love finding patterns and things, you know, all those Pinterest boards. It truly is taking all of that and mashing it up into a wonderful little pie. These characters are well voiced, well played, and just, I love them so much. Now, I don't remember how many seasons it has. It's quite a lot. I don't know if it's still being written, but I'm pretty sure it is. It's just, please just listen to it. Please. It is, please, holy grail of all fictional podcasts, for me at the very least. Those are my top 5 fictional podcasts. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you go out and you listen to some of these and let me know if you enjoyed them. If you have any of your own recommendations, I will give just about anything a listen when it comes to fictional podcasts, so let me know, because I'm always on the lookout for new ones. I have been slouching this entire time. Thanks for being here, thanks for caring, and thanks for being you. I will see you in the next one where... What are we doing in the next one? One moment. In the next one, it'll be it might be one of two things. It may be an Elaine and Haley come to stay with me vlog, or it may be doing everything on my summer vision board list. Both of those are in the works. They may come out at the same time, they may come out a couple of weeks later, and then after that, we'll show you Italy, which is where I currently am. Bye!